Namaste, Shri Matre Namaha. Welcome to this beautiful morning of Sunday. Thank you so much for being here in spite of being a Sunday. And this is Shri Bhagwan's Silent Sunday Satsang. You're most welcome to be here on this auspicious time and opportunity for us to interact, share, and know more about Shri Bhagwan's teachings. In this meeting, we have it once in a month. It's at Zoom, and we follow a certain set of things that we like to do here. We read from Bhagwan's books. We try to experience how we feel about him in our heart. So we request all of us to share certain experiences of how Bhagwan has touched our lives in many different ways. After that, we try to immerse in silence, which is the primary teaching of Sri Bhagwan. So that's what we will be going into. The meeting culminates in silence, so that's how it'll end. And I'm Dr. Pallavi Quatra. I am based at Delhi. I'm a doctor by profession. And Sri Bhagwan has been my guru for almost 8-9 years now, and has led my path for everything that I do and I am. So this platform enables me to connect with more devotees and share and know more about how their lives are also touched. So I'm sharing the screen and I am showing you some things here. Yes. Is my screen clear? Sandeep?
It is correct, ma'am.
All right. So a website called as myramanamaharishi.com. This website was created about 5 years back. It is a website by the devotees and for the devotees. So the whole idea here is to compile a lot of information and resources and also personal sharings by devotees. So there's a lot of things that if you want to understand about Bhagwan in terms of his entire time, there is a lot about his timeline, about the important events in his life, how things happen. And then there are quotations and posters and a lot about Arunachala. Then there is a set of devotees that were very dear and about them. Then basically this website has got a lot of testimonials and blogs and contributions of audios, videos, dances, art forms. In all ways, devotees from across the world have contributed here, and these have been compiled here for you to read and enjoy. So there are wonderful bhajans, there are art contributions. And then here in the resources and feedback, there's about 100 free books of Sri Bhagwan that are available. So you can use these books for enhancing your knowledge and reading. And even there are wonderful resource links, other web links to important websites where you can go and read more about it. So please use this place to enrich and grow. And in case you want to share your own experiences or your own writings or your own contributions, which can be anything in terms of your devotion, like a painting, like a sketch, like a poem. So you can mail that to me at my email address, and I will be uploading it here on this website for others to find joy in reading and relishing. So now we will be playing a bhajan. It's called Sharanagati. So let's enjoy this bhajan by
शरणागति
शरणागति परना शरणागति परना இனி புக துணைதான் ஏது நீ புகழாய் இனி புக துணைதான் ஏது நீ புகழாய் शरणागति स्मरणागति फल अरुणाचल निरै रमणा स्मरणागति फल अरुणाचल निरै रमणा करुणा वरुणा श्री रमणा करुणा वरुणा शरणागति तरुणं இது அன்றோ உன் கருணை நோக்கவே தருணம் இது அன்றோ உன் கருணை நோக்கவே கால ஹரணமாக்கிடில் என் செய்வேன் கால ஹரணமாக்கிடில் என் செய்வேன் துன்பை நீக்கி இன்பை அளிக்க எனன்பா உலக துன்பை நீக்கி இன்பை அளிக்க எனன்பா இன்னம் பராமுகம் என்னால் தாழாதையா ஸ்ரீவேதிய இன்னம் பராமுகம் என்னால் ஆடாதையா ஸ்ரீரமணா शरणागति பரனா இனி புக துணைதான் ஏது நீ புகழாய் சரணாகதி.
So I hope that you all enjoyed this wonderful bhajan. At the end of every experience, there comes around just and only silence. So when one is exhausted with the turmoil of experience, whether good or bad, the repetitive cycle of experience, then one seeks to find liberation from that. And that is that state of Sharanagati, that silence, where there is no one and nobody and nothing to experience. It's just the void shunyata. It's blissful in its chitta, in its consciousness, and it just is, there is no temperament to it. So we will be doing some readings also today. I will be doing the first reading. I am going to be reading from this book called Face to Face with Sri Ramana Maharishi. It's a wonderful book. In case you want to have it, it's available at Ramanashramam. You can order it. And there are experiences, I think, of 212 devotees inside this book. And there are also experiences of some saints who visited Sri Bhagwan. So today I have chosen the experience of Swami Muktananda. I think many of you may know about him. He is from Ganeshpuri, and this experience is about him visiting Bhagwan. So many kinds of people visited Bhagwan in his lifetime. There were the commoners who came to him, the animals who came to him, the rajas and the queens and all the royal society people, they came to him, politicians came to him, people from the Western background, journalists, politicians from there, like celebrities. So many people came to him, but he treated everybody alike. And many of their intellectual questions, which they wanted to ask him, evaporated in his presence. And many of the experiences in this book are commonly having this relatable experience that I came to Bhagwan and I want to ask all my queries. But when I sat in front of him, questions were no more. So this is how Bhagwan's presence has always greeted our minds, which are constantly aflame with thoughts and inquiries about how, when, and where. But once the silence of his grace took over, then there was nothing to ask and nothing to know. So I'm sharing and I'm reading from this book. I hope my voice is loud and clear to all of you. Swami Muktananda was the member of the well-known ashram at Ganeshpuri near Mumbai. Bhagwan Ramana Maharishi was a great saint who always occupied a high place of reverence in the minds of people. His divine personality endeared him to all beings. The word Ramana means one who plays. Rameti iti Ramana. You may call him Atman or Guru. Both are synonyms indicating the same divine power of which this universe is a game. Ramana Maharishi was a divine soul, completely detached and beyond all differences. highly self-restrained, and playfully living in the ocean of transcendental consciousness. I had the good fortune to be in his company just for 3 days. Even during that short stay, I found that anyone entering his presence, even for a moment, would experience the state of a fully realized soul in a transcendental state beyond all thoughts. Some believed him to be a Siddha or a great saint, and some believed him to be an incarnation of God. Anyone going even once to the Maharishi felt as if the Maharishi belonged to him. This was because he really belonged to everyone and everyone to him. Wearing only a lion cloth, he used to sit relaxed on a sofa, but still he looked more attractive than even the most richly attired princess because, as my revered Gurudev Nityananda used to say, the Maharishi was beyond body consciousness, beyond all attributes, and beyond all dualities. This indicates that he was on a plane far above the bodily pain and pleasure, a plane that was inaccessible to most of us mortals. Realization of this was all important in his teaching. To everyone who asked, he unhesitatingly gave the advice to meditate on the self, worship the self, and know the self. This is because, according to Vedanta, there is nothing worth knowing, hearing, or seeing except one's true self. The path in quest of truth shown by him will remain accessible to all for a long time to come, because he proclaimed absolute truth, which remains unobstructed at all times, in all places, and under all conditions. His message appears to some the oldest amongst the old, and to others as newest amongst the new. Actually, it is ancient and modern at the same time because the concepts of old and new are imposed on the self by others, while it is really ageless and eternal. Some people call the present times a new age, but according to the Maharishi, all things, old or new, are projections of the same eternal truth. Those who loved the Maharishi got from him the true supreme bliss attained by means of jnana, yoga, and bhakti. He is the ever adorable great soul, and my adorations to him. Thank you so much. This is the book, in case you wish to get it. I would now request the second book reading to be done by Bhairav Dutt-ji. Bhairav ji, please share the book also and show the book also when you read it.
Namaskaram to everyone, and I'm going to read from the book called as Talks with Shri Ramana Maharishi. This is the book. I was informed to read one incident, but somehow I think Bhagwan wanted that two incidents should be read out without any time foundations. So I suppose time is basically that we have imposed on ourselves, we have imposed on our mind that we are supposed to do this at this time, that at that time, which snatches away, uh, which snatches away joy, right? Like you have got something at the back of the mind that after I finish this, I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll do that. So one should realize, we should realize, in fact, these 20 of us who are sitting here, that we have taken a time out from our daily affairs. We have selected ourselves to be present here at this moment and listen to Bhagwan's teaching. So I think this is one message which is being conveyed through these satsangs, that we should try. There should be an endeavor from each one of us to take some time out for yourself. Leave out these timings which are set in our minds that we have to do this at this time, and invest in yourselves. So I am going to read. Uh, it is a beautiful incident about Arunachal Mahatmaya from this book, dated 5th of March 1938. It is a talk which is serialed at number 464. A passage from Arunachal Mahatmya, the glory of Arunachala, was read out, and it is related to Panguni, a lame sage, who has his legs made whole by the grace of Shri Arunachala. Shri Bhagwan then related the story of a man whom Shri Maharishi has seen when he was in Guru Murtham. The man was one Uppu Iyer. His legs were useless and he could not walk. He was once on his way to Vetavalam, moving on his buttocks. An old man suddenly appeared before him and said, "Get up and walk. Why do you move on your buttocks?" Uppu Iyer was excited and beside himself. Involuntarily, he rose up and walked freely. After going on a short distance, he looked behind to see the stranger who made him walk, but he could not find anyone. He narrated the incident to all those who were surprised to see him walk. Any old man in town can bear witness to Pupu Iyer's regaining the use of his legs. And again, a girl from girls' school was decoyed and was being robbed of her jewels. And suddenly, an old man appeared on the scene, rescued the girl, escorted her to her home, and then disappeared. So often, such mysterious happenings occur in Tiruvannamalai. This is the talk which is dated 5th March 1938. And now I am going to read another talk dated 6th March 1938, which is talk number 465. I'll be deliberately going a bit slow for the words. Let these words be absorbed into you. So pay attention to the words which I am going to speak. Shri Bhagwan explained to a retired judge of the High Court some points in Updesa Saram as follows. This is a very beautiful 5 or 6 points which have been narrated by Shri Bhagwan. And as he says, meditation should remain unbroken as a current. If unbroken, it is called Samadhi or Kundalini Shakti. The mind may be latent and merge in the self. It must necessarily rise up again. After it rises up, one finds oneself only as ever before. For in this state, the mental predispositions are present. They are in latent form to re-manifest under favorable conditions. Again, the mind activities can be completely destroyed. This differs from the former mind, for here the attachment is lost and never to reappear. Even though the man sees the world after he has been in the samadhi state, the world will be taken only at its worth. That is to say, it is the phenomena of one reality. The true being can be realized only in samadhi. What was then is also now. Otherwise, it cannot be reality or ever present being. What was in samadhi is here and now too. hold it, and it is your natural condition of being here and now too. Samadhi practice must lead to it. Otherwise, how can Nirvikalpa Samadhi practice be of any use in which a man remains as a log of wood? He must necessarily rise up from it sometime or other and face the world. But in Sahaj Samadhi, he remains unaffected by the world. This is a very profound experience which Maharishi is narrating here, and I would not like to explain much on these. So I continue that so many pictures pass over the cinema screen. Fire burns away everything, water drenches all, but the screen remains unaffected. The scenes are only phenomena which pass away, leaving the screen as it was. Similarly, the world phenomena simply pass on before the Jnani, leaving him unaffected. You may say that people find pain or pleasure in worldly phenomenon, and it is owing to superimposition. This must not happen. With this end in view, practice is made. Practice lies in one of the two forces, devotion or knowledge. Even these are not the goals. Samadhi must be gained. It must be continuously practiced until the Sahaj Samadhi results. Then there remains nothing more to do. And with this, I finish my talks and hand over back to Dr. Pallavi.
Thank you so much, Bhairavji. This was a wonderful and illuminating piece of talks. This is a wonderful book, and little talks can be read whenever during the daytime that you are wanting to center yourself back into the self. So just pick the book and open up a random page, and Bhagwan's
Yeah,
teaching is
that is what the
absolutely right.
beauty.
Yes,
That is
it's
what the
appropriate.
beauty of the book is, that every time the satsang is there, I don't select what I have to read, and the page which opens itself comes out, and this is what I narrate to everyone. So I don't select what I have to read, and in fact, this is how it is done.
Yes. And Bhagwan always also said that bhakti is the mother of jnana. So either through jnana or through bhakti, whatever your temperament is, make the consistent self-inquiry. And if you're unable to do that, if you feel that you're intellectually not up to it, or you can't really meditate so much, then you can be in your devotional fervor. That is also very beautiful, equally a great path, and that can take us to the Atma Vichara, even if we are not consciously doing it. So the next reading is going to be by Virendra Sharma ji from Bangalore. Virendra ji is going to show us also the basic book of Who Am I, which is printed in many, many languages by Ramanashram. And he's going to also read from.
Well, namaskar everybody. And this is the book which Dr. Pallavi is referring to, which is a very basic book. And this was published in 1923 for the first time. And it's a question and answer session between one Siva Prakasam Pillai and the Maharishi, Raman Maharishi. There are 28 questions and answers to them in this, out of which I have chosen the question number 8 because it relates to the mind, and mind is something which always has baffled me. I do not know. When I try to understand it, it goes further away. So there are certain things in this which will enlighten us and may lead us on a path to understand mind much better. So I'll just proceed. It's question number 8, which says, what is the nature of the mind? The answer starts, what is called mind is a wondrous power residing in the self. It causes all thoughts to arise. Apart from thoughts, there is no such thing as mind. Therefore, thought is the nature of mind. Apart from thoughts, there is no independent entity called the world. In deep sleep, there are no thoughts and there is no world. In the states of waking and dream, there are thoughts and there is a world also. Just as the spider emits the thread of the web, out of itself,
Sorry.
out of itself, and again withdraws it into itself, likewise the mind projects the world out of itself and again resolves it into itself. When the mind comes out of the self, the world disappears. Therefore, when the world appears to be real, the self does not appear. And when the self appears or shines, the world does not appear. When one persistently inquires into the nature of the mind will end leaving the self as the residue. What is referred to as the self is the Atman. The mind always exists only in dependence on something gross. It cannot stay alone. It is the mind that is called the subtle body or the soul or the jiva. I go to question number 9, which says, what is the path of inquiry for understanding the nature of the mind? The answer comes out. That which rises as I in this body is the mind. If one inquires as to where in the body the thought I rises first, one would discover that it rises in the heart. That is the place of the mind's origin. Even if one thinks constantly, one will be led to that place. Of all the thoughts that arise in the mind, the I thought is the first. It is the only after the rise of this that the other thoughts arise. It is after the appearance of the first personal pronoun that the second and third personal pronouns appear. Without the first personal pronoun, there will not be the second and third. And one very small answer is, how will the mind become quiescent? By the inquiry, who am I? The thought, who am I, will destroy all other thoughts. And like the stick used for stirring the burning fire, it will itself, in the end, get destroyed. Then there will arise self realization. So, this was my reading. You're muted, man.
Okay. So this extract, especially each and every of these 21 points are equally very powerful. And this especially is wonderful. I always remember it at the back of my mind of that log of wood that is used to, like immolate the pyre. And in the end, even that is thrown into the homam or the yagna kund, basically. So that is the mind, that the mind is the tool for self-inquiry. But at the end of the journey, even the mind has to be offered. The mind has to be given up. The mind is dissolved. So that is how this journey of from the mind to self-inquiry to self-realization. So these are that that example of the burning wood is something that can be always brought back to mind whenever one is confused about the nature of thought. Okay, so thank you, Virendraji, for helping us and illuminating us with this point. Maybe every meeting we should be able to read one point out of these 21 points. Each point is actually wonderful. And this book is also available at Ramanashram. I think it's free of cost, and you can order it on their website. So now we have finished the reading sessions, and if anyone in the audience is wishing to share any of their personal experiences of how they got to know about Bhagwan, or what they feel about him or how they feel connection, what is their sadhana. So please unmute yourself and feel free to share and speak for 5 minutes. Anybody? Dr. Jyoti, are you here with us? She was here earlier. Dr. Jyoti Talwar, are you here with us? We can request you to share some things, please. Anybody, it's a very non-formal kind of a platform.
Actually, you can take the question of Anjali, who has
Okay.
query. Maybe you can help her out.
What is that question? Sorry.
It's like she's trying very hard to ask herself who I am. Who am I? But I don't get it anywhere. I don't get anywhere. Means she's not progressing on the question, I think. Or she can speak for herself.
Yes, I think it's better that she can even unmute herself and speak.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
He says that keep asking yourself, who am I? Who is this thought occurring to? And I don't get any answer. Like when I ask myself, who am I? My answer is, I am me. This person.
Yeah, so you have to retrace your steps more backwards. So you don't have to just stop at that. So you said that you feel that you get this answer that I am myself.
Yeah.
So who is that self? Are you this bodily identity of Anjali? Or
No, I'm not this body, but I am whatever the soul that is embodied at the moment in this. But like whatever the soul is, whatever my personality is, I mean, that is what I am.
So that personality can be changing at so many points in our lives. See, how we were in childhood is not how we are now. We are into so many role plays. If you're into a professional role play, you're into personal role plays. So that identity that you are connecting with as Anjali is constantly changing. So that which is constantly changing could not be the truth. So that is not your true self. So what that inquiry has to be retraced back to the nirvikara atmic consciousness that never changes, that is perennial across lifetimes, across your own role plays, across your thoughts, across your emotions. So constantly working and tracing the back thought, like every thought that comes to you has to be asked this question, that who is the one who has actually got the thought. So there is really that only one atmic self that needs to be realized. So I know it's very difficult. It's like an intellectual, like a Meyer kind of a thing to practice this self-inquiry thing. I also find it very difficult actually.
Yeah. And the whole purpose of doing all this is that, we want peace of mind. We're so fed up of all the pain and suffering in life. We want peace of mind. So like, then we try to meditate and Bhagwan Ramana says that, in meditation, you ask yourself all these questions and you're not getting any answer. You're not getting any peace of mind. Okay, fine. I know I'm not this body, mind and ego. I'm a soul. I have lived many lifetimes. I have karma. But all this, it's not like, I try to still my thoughts, live in the present moment, don't think of the past, don't think of the future. But all that is it does not help you come out of your pain and suffering.
Yes. So Anjali, can I ask you a very personal question, that do you have a devotional kind of a nature also where you feel?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. So if you had that, then maybe that was a better way to, surrender is also equally powerful when one is unable to.
My grandmother was very religious. And so in my younger days, I used to do a lot of puja part and fasting and really praying to the goddess and all that, but it didn't help me at all. I did not find even, a slight release from pain or suffering. So I kind of lost faith.
Okay. So then in that case, I think reading of Bhagwan's books can probably guide you more. If you're unable to meditate, if you're unable to do bhakti, then probably the way for you is to read more and more, so that sometimes something will just hit the knot and break it. There are granthis in our consciousness. We have blocks. So we don't know how it's going to get resolved. So you've tried meditation, you can't feel inclined towards bhakti. So I think reading, slowly going on consistently reading, there will come a point of illumination where you may have just the trigger. So maybe I'm just telling you from my limited experience. I don't know exactly what you should do, but I feel that if you've given up on these two modalities, then reading and listening to Bhagwan's words constantly, there
I
will
do.
come a
I
point.
read. In fact, even you had written on one of the chats that, Bhagwan Ramana says that this is not me. So why should I care what happens to me? But uh, you know, it just like, in day-to-day life, you can keep telling yourself, this is not me, this is not me, I'm not this body, mind, ego. But when the pain and the suffering comes now, you are the
Yes.
one who is having to go through the pain. So what is the point of saying this is not me, this is not me? It's like,
Anjali ji, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to intervene, and I would like to intervene because I just read out this point number 3 from the talks of 465. So I would like to ask some very basic questions from you. Do you know how to ride a bicycle?
No.
Okay. Do you know how to drive a car?
Yes.
Okay. So how much days it took you to drive a car?
About a month or two.
Month or two.
Hmm.
So what did you do when you were supposed to learn how to drive the car?
You keep practice. Yeah, I know in the Bhagavad Gita also it says keep doing abhyas. But, and I've been
No,
meditating
but
for years now.
how was the abhyas done? What was the way of doing abhyas? While doing abhyas, were you listening to mobile phone? While doing abhyas, were you looking at the scenery which is there nearby and learning how to drive the car? While
No,
doing
I was
abhyas,
focusing on the
were you
traffic.
also listening to songs?
No, I was focusing on the traffic. At that time, you can't afford to be distracted at all because you're in the middle of the traffic.
So you are giving answers to your queries yourself. Just
No,
reflect
but like
upon
I'm
your
saying, in your daily life of severe pain and suffering,
Mhm.
it's like saying
Mhm.
I've got a severe toothache, but I have to keep telling
Mhm.
myself, oh, this body is not me. This body is not me. Oh, what is the use
No,
of
no,
saying
no,
that when you've got a severe
no.
toothache?
Both the things. That is what was told just now in the paragraph 3, which I read.
Hmm.
It cannot be like you cannot ignore this form which is there. You are present in this form, right?
Huh. Yeah.
You have to acknowledge it. Yes, you are in this form.
Hmm.
That is what is this nirvil kalpa samadhi. That is what we read out, but we don't uh, focus on these words. We don't understand what Ramana Maharishi is trying to explain to us.
Hmm.
See, if you try to remain 24 by 7 in that same state of samadhi, I am in such state of samadhi, I don't bother, I don't care what is happening, and this is not how it has to be done. That
Okay.
is what clearly Bhagwan says. He
Hmm.
says that otherwise, how can nirvikalpa samadhi be of any use in which a man remains a log of wood? He must necessarily rise up from it sometime or other and face the world. There is no harm in facing the world. There is no harm in acknowledging the reality in which you are,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Everyone has his own quota of pains and pleasure.
Yeah.
He has to walk through that path. It
Hmm.
cannot be, even if the gods have come to this earth, they
Hmm.
have had their quota of pains and pleasure.
Yeah.
The thing of realization is
Hmm.
that this thought of who am I should
Hmm.
constantly be there
Hmm.
in your mind, action, thoughts 24 by 7. Just as when you were starting to drive a car.
Hmm.
At that moment of time, your focus was more on the path, more on the controls of the car. And
Hmm.
after some time, when you get used to driving of the car,
Hmm.
everything becomes like you are driving the car, but then you are listening to mobile phone also. You are looking around the scenery also. You are looking around the red lights. You are looking at the road. You are doing everything. But that action of driving the car
Hmm.
is going on, right?
Okay.
So this is how we need to balance both the states. It would not come कि एकदम से कुछ हमारे इसमें हुआ वो तो these saints are there, yes, in their lives that experiment, that explosion might have happened as it is told, but we living in our day-to-day activities have to constantly practice it. We have
Abhyas.
to practice it. अभ्यास, छोटी छोटी एक्टिविटीज आप खुद ही देखिए, मैंने तो एक लाइव एग्जांपल दिया कि हम कोई भी चीज को नहीं सीख सकते. आप पढ़ाई को ले लीजिए, आप एक दिन में तो एबीसी से एकदम से पीएचडी नहीं कर देंगी. You
No,
have to
I've been
practice.
meditating
Yeah,
for a long time.
yeah. So keep that
It's been-
meditation at the hindsight 24/7. You have to remind yourself to go back, to go back. And that is one state. And this is the, you should not, I'm not telling, don't deny that this is the state which I'm going through, but always also remember that state. That is how both the planes will get balanced out. That is my suggestion here.
Yes, and I
Okay.
think we have now crossed the time for question answer because we have to end this meeting on time. It's 11:52. So last 10 minutes at least we keep for silence because
I
that
think you can check with one more. Anyone wants to share?
no, there is no time, Sandeep, for any more sharing because
Okay.
we need to end this meeting in 8
Okay.
minutes. So we
Yeah.
will spend the next 8 minutes in silence. Okay. So thank you very much, all of you, for being here on this Sunday morning. And we look forward to more and more inputs and more sharings in the next meeting. Let's maintain a silence of the next 8 to 10 minutes. Please do not log out of the meeting. This is an opportunity for you to practice silence. Thank you.